In less than 3 hours, the governor's impeachment trial gets going.
Well, joining us is political analyst Tom Serafin. You just saw John Cullerton this morning, the Senate president of the state. You know, we heard from Radonio earlier, and she said he doesn't need to be in New York. He needs to be in Springfield. What did Cullerton have to say?
Well, John said the same thing. Senator Cullerton is the president of the Senate. They start today at 12. They're going to have at least one witness today talking about those alleged telephone calls that took place, that they were admissible in court. And tomorrow's the big day. Tuesday's when they play those tapes, the tapes that Patrick Fitzgerald said would make Abraham Lincoln roll over in his grave. That's the big day. And I think his attorneys had some kind of battle in between each other. Jensen wanted to go down to Springfield and battle it out. His other attorneys did not. They won out. Governor Blagojevich is in New York today talking about the fact that he can't get a fair trial in Springfield.
Yeah, what's his overall goal here?
Well, I think the most important thing for Rob Blagojevich is to stay out of prison. I mean, he could go to prison for 15 to 30 years in this with all these charges against him, and we still haven't seen the indictment, which would come down in another 2 months. So I think what he's trying to do is court public opinion, try to maneuver public opinion to sympathy vote. And, you know, I talked to a lot of people over the weekend and last week, and when they heard these allegations coming from the governor that the Senate was doing this, the Senate was doing that, people started thinking, well, maybe he can't get a fair trial. And then the Senate late Thursday, late Friday decided we better do something about this, because right now people are thinking that this may be a kangaroo court.
You know, I was watching it. I kind of was thinking some of the same thing, just about people out there and courting the national opinion, reaching to people that really know very little other than what they've read. And maybe they don't know this guy. And we forget that this man is very persuasive. He has been elected governor twice by the people of Illinois. Maybe he's reaching out to those people again and trying to spin it his way.
Right, and he's a political animal. He understands that he hasn't gotten along with the legislature in Springfield. He's called them all kinds of names. They've had problems with him as well. And now they're going to be sitting in judgment in the Senate as jury and judge. And he knows unless he's squeaky clean, he probably will be convicted. That's his attitude.
Right.
So why show up and acknowledge this in a trial 2 years from now that these guys were legitimate? So his attitude is, hey, let me go out there and court public opinion. They're going to do what they're going to do anyway.
Is there some strategy involved in this also? Because now we're hearing that maybe he will even try to contest whatever that ruling they make, because he'll say he wasn't there, so it was illegal.
Right, and you know, one thing that was interesting about Senate President John Cullerton's speech this morning at breakfast is that he said there are 5 counts that deal with other allegations about state government issues. There are 8 counts in the article of impeachment that deal with the criminal element issue. He should have asked for the Senate to defer those issues because they were criminal in nature, and he cannot call those witnesses based on the fact that Patrick Fitzgerald, the prosecutor, has asked the Senate not to have those people show up. He could ask for them to show up on their own, but they're not going to show up on their own. Rahm Emanuel, who said on national television that he didn't think there was anything wrong with the conversations he had with the governor. Barack Obama's report that came out December 23rd that said he didn't think there was anything wrong in the conversations his staff had with the governor. So the governor has got maybe a good case there, but we'll never know because he's not there.
Yeah, and it was interesting to listen to him this morning as well, talking about the fact that he feels like he's being railroaded, and just saying the fact that he can't subpoena Rahm Emanuel. He can't subpoena Barack Obama. I mean, these people cannot be called in right now, maybe perhaps in a criminal trial.
Right. But he could have called in the videotape from Face the Nation, or was Meet the Press, where Rahm said there was nothing wrong. He could have subpoenaed the Barack Obama report that said nothing went wrong. So, I mean, he had other avenues. They decided not to do this issue in Springfield because of a bigger picture, the criminal trial issue.
Let's keep in mind, too, that this is not the only reason why they're trying to impeach him in Springfield. I mean, this is a portion of a 60-page document of things that date back when he was even in his first term as governor. And
the Senate President, and the Senate President this morning did admit, and there have been conversations with Pat Quinn's staff, people are talking to Springfield, taxes will go up. We're going to see an increase in cigarette taxes. We're going to see an increase in gasoline taxes. They're talking about 8 cents now. They're talking about an income tax increase. They're talking about the possibility of 3 new casinos, one in Waukegan, one in Chicago, one downstate. So there's a lot of revenue operations on the table right now. But Governor Blagojevich has always said, no, not on my watch.
And before we leave you, did John at all hear any of these comments comparing himself to, or at least reading up on Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr.? What's his thought? I'm just kind of wondering.
Well, that takes the sublime to the ridiculous. I mean, that's the part where the governor, you know, he may keep people in public opinion to a point, but then all of a sudden he goes off the cliff. You know, and you know, comparing yourself to Gandhi and you're Rod Blagojevich from the north side. Listen, everybody that runs Chicago, everybody that runs Illinois is from a ward organization or from a Chicago neighborhood. I mean, they run the state of Illinois. To compare anyone from a alderman or from a ward operation to Gandhi
is something else.
Yes.
That's all you can say. It's something else.
Right. Yes.
Leaves you speechless, doesn't it? Thank you so much, Tom, for coming.